Welcome everyone, this is Commissar Rykor, and this is a video on how you can assemble your Bane Blade and get every variant that comes in the kit. So we're going to go through it. Obviously it's not the definitive way of doing it, but it is a pretty easy, simple way of setting up the Bane Blade to be all of the versions in the kit. I actually was able to just finally figure out how to do the last version today, so let's get into it. The way that you're going to build your Bane Blade is you're going to build the tracks up first. You'll have left side, right side. You'll build your track up pieces, and then you'll mount them together, and it looks kind of like this. You'll kind of build the whole tank up, and it'll look like this. Now, these pieces right here, on the inside, on the left or on the right side here, and on the left side here, these are additional sprue pieces that are going to use to hold up the body of some of the other variants later on. As far as the sponsons go on the side, I've determined that the only two places you can really put the sponsons in order to get all of the sides is either the front or the middle. The back side is going to be taken up by some heavy stubbers on the back that come off several of the variants. So you're going to want to put them either in the middle or the front. You can either just set them in there, or you can magnetize them in there. Now what I did is I glued the front and the back. I glued all these panels on, and I actually just glued these side sponsons on today. Now what I did is I magnetized these las cannons, because the way they normally come is there's like a little pin that sits in right here, and it's supposed to stick out the bottom. Well, it doesn't glue very well. So what I did is I stuck a magnet. Now the size of these magnets are 1/8 inch by 1/25 inch thickness. So diameter 1/8 inch, and then thickness is 1/25. So what I did is I stuck a magnet in the bottom, and I stuck a magnet right up here, and not really a lot of drilling was required, just a little bit of drilling to kind of make the hole a little larger than it was before. And then I was able to swivel this around like you would normally. It's just a little bit easier of a solution than what GW gives you with this little spindle, because the spindle kept getting stuck and it wouldn't glue, and this kept falling off. So this is a pretty quick solution for keeping these on here. Now for the sponson weapons themselves, you basically, you want to magnetize, you want to, like, where the little barrels are, you're going to put some magnets right here, and they click together. So you can, for storage, they kind of stick together. It's pretty good. And inside of the sponson, which would have been easier if I hadn't glued it in, but right here inside the sponson, I put 2 magnets, because it's a little thicker than 1 magnet. So I just put 2 magnets in there, and I have a whole set. It's on both sides. I have a whole set of heavy flamers, and I have the heavy bolters. Now, so I'm going to basically stick these heavy bolters back in here, and you just hear they click right in, no problem. I didn't glue it, so you can move them from side to side, and you can move them up and down, but yeah, it's pretty much. So that's how I did do some magnetization there, just so I can make sure that if I wanted to ever sport these heavy flamers on the side, I could. All right. So now we're gonna make the first, the most popular variant, which is why it's called the Bane Blade Kit. We're gonna make the Bane Blade. So basically, with the Bane Blade, you're going to get 2 things. You'll need the front, so you'll need this piece. Now, when you get this piece, and this is actually how it sits in there. Yeah, when you get this piece, it's going to have these little tabs on the side, on both sides, which normally get stuck in right here and right here. Now, what I did is I cut them off, because what I do is I just slide them in, or no, slide it in like this. And, yeah, if I can get it to sit in right. There you go. And then it just sits right there. Now, we'll move a little bit. Once you put the top in, it's fine. Now, what I did is right here in the crew compartment, because of what kind of commander I was using, I put these 2 little bits of sprue in here. And obviously, the top actually does, you know, the top still moves, and you can still take it off if you really wanted to. So, if you wanted to take it off, I don't know, for painting purposes, you could take it off, which is probably what I'm going to do when I paint and prime it. And there's also this little door right here, so you can paint the inside of the engine, because I haven't glued the door on, or you can just glue it on. It's just really personal preference, but I haven't glued it on because I wanted to paint the little engine in there. What I did is I put this here because my Death Korg of Krieg Commissar, because the Bane Blade can have a Commissar crew, so to represent the Commissar crew of the Bane Blade, I just put it like there, so you got a little shelf, which is pretty good. If you're using the crew that comes in the tank, you don't need to put these little sprue bits in there, because they just kind of stick in from the bottom. All right, so we're going to pretty much slide this in on here, and it just sits right on top. And that's pretty much how you'll set the whole Bane Blade piece up. This gun moves around just easily. This gun moves around. You don't, you can glue it in place if you want to, or you don't have to. So just keep these right here. Now for the actual Baneblade weapons, there's 2 weapons in this configuration. There's the Baneblade cannon, and then there's the Hellhammer cannon. So the Baneblade cannon, it's hollow inside. So what I did is I stuck a bunch of green stuff in there, and I was gonna super glue a magnet in there, but I realized I could just because you can wait for the green stuff to dry, or you can just shove a magnet into the green stuff, and when the green stuff dries, it'll just hold the magnet in place. And so I just, boom, hold the magnet in place, because I put another magnet right here on the barrel point. And then for the other weapon, this one didn't need any green stuff. This one just required me to drill a hole, and obviously the hole punched through. So what I did is I took the back of a brush, and I shoved the brush in through the front of the thing, into the front of the cannon, to hold it back. So when I pushed the magnet in, so I put the super glue on, then when I pushed the magnet in, it just pretty much stayed in place, and then I could pull out the brush. So that's what I do with the back of my brushes. Very, very helpful little tool. And we just stick it, and it sticks right on there. So there you go. You got both the Baneblade and the Hellhammer. So now we're gonna move on. So we're gonna take the whole top assembly off. We'll set that aside. Take this front piece out. And then we're going to put the next front piece in. This front piece right here is used for all the other variants. So we'll slide this front piece in here. And we're going to, let's make up the Storm Sword. All right. So we put that front piece in there. Now the Storm Sword, the cannon sits further in the back. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this piece. A lot of pieces just don't get glued in the slot. So you're going to set that there. And you're going to take these pieces. You want the teeth to be up. And you'll set that right there. Oh, it'll fall every once in a while, but just kind of set it right there, and it'll kind of stay. And then you're going to take this top piece right here, and you're going to set this top piece right there, and it'll kind of like keep that piece from falling out. And then you're going to want to take this part, which also flips over to be the back part, but it's kind of a middle part. So we're going to put this here, and you'll see where it lips, and it just sits right on top, which is what these sprue pieces on here are for. It's to keep this piece from falling in. And then we're going to set that right there. Now, as you see, I have 4 magnets right here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, these 2 magnets on the top, they really should be a little lower, and I'll show you why when we get to the last version. I put my las cannon right there. So now we're going to get onto, basically, I put 2 magnets on this piece, and with this piece, you could just glue this on here, because this piece is always used on all the versions. So I basically will just stick it in here, and now you can put this in here and it won't fall out, but I've noticed that when you have the cannon all the way on here, it'll tip off. So you basically want to make sure you put some magnets on the back of it so the cannon doesn't pull up. Now for the other part, to finish out the Storm Sword, it uses this piece. Now up until today, I couldn't figure out how to get this piece on there. And then I actually had to steal a technique that I used on my Basilisk Medusa conversion kit. And basically I took some sprue, and I put it together, and I basically glued 3 pieces of sprue together, and I shoved it in there, and I glued it in place. So you can see it if you look down the cannon barrel, obviously, but my goal is to paint the whole thing, so hopefully nobody's like really looking in there. But it just didn't really fit a magnet very well, so I think this is the best solution I was able to come up without making a long bar to go all the way through. Because theoretically, one of my other ideas was to take a long bar and just go from like the inside and then bring it all the way to the back and maybe magnetize it to the back. But I figured this was a little easier. And you just kind of stick it on there, and it just uses a little bit of friction to keep itself in place. And now that is the Storm Sword finished product, which I'm really happy that I was able to figure that out. Now we're going to move on to the next part. So you'll take this piece off, just pop it off, set it aside, and then we're going to go with let's go with the Bane Sword. So the Bane Sword uses this barrel, and with just straight up friction alone, you'll just push it in there. You don't want to push too hard. And then that is the Bane Sword. And now for the next one after that, we have the Shadow Sword. So for the Shadow Sword, you're basically just going to take this little piece right here. It's like a little weird cannon thing. It kind of makes the cannon look like more of a futuristic weapon. And you're just going to stick it right on the front of the barrel. And there you go. You have yourself a Shadow Sword. Good to go. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to move some pieces around because we're going to make the Doomhammer, the Banehammer, and the Stormlord. Stormlord being the last one. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this barrel off. And we're going to lift this piece up, move that pin off. We're going to lift these two pieces off here because these last three variants allow for passengers. So we're going to take those off. We're going to take this, flip this around upside down. Now you want to set it right here in the back, set it on top of there. So that's what the sprue pieces are for, to keep it up there. And you're going to want to put this up front. And it will click, kind of fall into place. And then we're going to take this piece. Oh, I forgot. This piece actually sits on top of all the versions. So this little piece right here keeps it covered. So for all the other versions that use this top, you'll put this right here. And then you'll take your heavy stubbers on your side. And they're not magnetized. I've seen some people magnetize them, but I didn't want to. And then you just kind of set them in there. And you'll figure it out. You'll find a spot. And then you'll put it on the other side. And we'll just set it in there, and then you're good to go. So then you got your heavy stubbers on the right and left. And you got your cannon on the front. Now this is actually the Bane hammer. To make the Doomhammer, you'll take the front piece off the other cannon that you used before, and you'll stick it right on there. And that's how you make, well, obviously you would push on further, but that's how you make the Doomhammer. All right, now the last variant that you can get from your Bane Blade is you're going to take this whole assembly off, and you'll set this aside, and you'll take the Stormlord cannon that it comes with. Now on my Stormlord cannon, when you build it, the Stormlord cannon moves on this frame. Well, I didn't like the way it moved on the frame. So it moves on the frame normally. I didn't like the way it moved on the frame. So what I did is I just glued it in place so it didn't move anymore. I put two magnets right here, and so it super glues in. And these two magnets are where it connects on the top. Now I wish I would have brought these magnets a little further down, like maybe a millimeter or so. But yeah, it'll work. And then it just kind of sits in there. And you take... So the reason why I wish it was a little bit further down is because once I realized I put this piece on, I realized this piece doesn't sit flush. It doesn't really sit flush in the right or left. So if you're going to do this, you want to make sure that you'll put either use maybe a metal strip instead of magnets. Like if you could put a piece of metal right there, like a thin piece of magnetizable metal, you can still put the magnets here, or just drop your connecting magnets just a little further down. So, and then also maybe I can get in a little close in right there. Will it focus? Hold on. Apologies. Let me change my camera. There we go. So if you can make it just a little lower than what it is right there, then it'll probably be good. So let me back that camera back up. Smooth that, aim that back down. All right. So yeah, that's how you can get all the different versions of the Bane Blade. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, it's been Commissar Rykor. If you like the video, please give it a like. If you like the content, feel free to subscribe. I'm going to be doing and I'm not sure when the video will come out, but the next video that I'm going to be doing, Warhammer 40k related, is I'm going to be showing you how I build my Medusa/Basilisk kit from the plastic GW Basilisk kit, which is direct order, which I wish it wasn't direct order. I wish you could order it. I wish you can get it in stores, but the only place I've been able to find it is online or through phone order. And I got these when I went to Warhammer World, the Basilisk themselves. But this Bane Blade you can get online. You can get it at any GW store that sells models. So go ahead and feel free to use the Bane Blade. If you have any other ideas, let me know. I probably will never magnetize or never do this conversion to another Bane Blade again. I figure if I get another Bane Blade, I'll get one specifically for a specific role. Just because I feel like doing all this and having all these extra pieces is just a little bit more hassle. This is why I stopped magnetizing a lot of my stuff and just kind of just glued it all together. But I figured I would give it a try and show everybody else how it works. So, yep, I hope you guys liked the video, and yeah, see you guys around.